Alex here with another scanner review. This time we're taking a look at the Autel MaxiCheck MX900. Now this is a bi-directional scanner that has the ability to access service functions as well as activating components on vehicles and live data and a lot more. And on this video I'm going to show you what you get when you buy one of these units, and I'm also going to walk you through the different features and the menu of it. That way you can see if your vehicle is covered by this scanner and also if the feature that you're looking for is included on it. But before I get started, I'd like to point out that the scanner was provided for me to review by obd-onlineshop.com, and they have more Autel scanners if you need more capability or if you need less capability. So make sure you guys check out their website. I'm gonna put a link to this scanner in the description down below, which will take you to their site so you can look at this scanner and other things that they carry as well. And as always, I have placed a link in the description down below to this system in case you'd like to get one for yourself. And the MX900 comes in on this hard carry case, nice heavy duty hinges, and everything is located inside. Scanner, and there's compartments for accessories. Let's start with the scanner. And Autel scanners typically feel of high quality and solid build, and the MX900 is no exception. We get a fairly large screen right here, and it's surrounded by somewhat of a case. Now the plastic here is a little bit softer. I wish it was even softer, but still pretty good for drop protection. I also want to show you the rear of the scanner. We get this nice carbon fiber like finish and also a camera, but we also get this stand, this kickstand right here, which is all metal, which again is gonna help with durability. And moving to the top, USB-C for power, memory card bay supporting up to 64 gigabytes of memory, the connection for the VCI, full-size USB port, and the power button. And for accessories, we get the VCI connector, and to charge the scanner, we get the wall adapter and a USB-C cable. And we'll begin with diagnostics. Now inside of here, there's a couple ways to diagnose a vehicle, and that is done with the vehicle ID dropdown. The very first option is to automatically have the scanner detect what vehicle you're working with. The other option will be to manually input that or to scan that again for manual input or VIN. I normally use auto detect, where it's going to pull the VIN information and it's going to give me narrow down the vehicle that I'm working with. Now we're given several options. One is to run diagnostics on the vehicle. The other one is hot functions, which are the service functions that are supported by the vehicle, and then looking at the vehicle profile, which is the vehicle information. And in diagnostics, there are two options. One is to auto scan all the vehicle for a complete health report, and the other one will be to select an individual module. I'm going to do a full scan. And with the scan completed, the scanner found 4 faults with the TPMS system, 1 fault with the navigation system, and 1 fault with power source control. You can see that the rest of the modules tested okay, and they indicate pass, no fault. Now you may potentially see no response, and that is because this particular vehicle is not equipped with those modules, so that is the reason why there is a no response on there. And at this point I can create a report that is going to include which modules passed and which ones didn't, and also whether I want to send that report to the cloud, or I can do the quick erase option where it's going to clear the DTCs. Obviously I don't want to do that. Or I can go into the actual details of what the problems were. In this particular case, I'm going to go inside of that TPMS and I hit trouble codes, and then we're going to be able to see the actual DTCs and what they are for. Once again, we are given the option to erase the codes. However, the search function, it is actually quite interesting, because if you're not familiar with that code, it will take you straight to the internet and Google that for you. But also notice that there are several icons on top of the screen. This one's just going to take us back to the home. This one is going to allow us to exit diagnostics and swap to a different vehicle. That is going to take us to the settings, but the one I want to show you is this. There is a drop down for printing this particular page or printing all the data related to it. Now the next one right here, which is this little disk, that allows us to take a screenshot, save the information as a PDF, or send a report to the cloud. And this very last one allows us to report a particular issue if we had encountered that while troubleshooting the vehicle. And if we did not need a full scan of the vehicle, we can access the individual modules directly with the control unit icon. And you can see that there's quite a bit of those on here, and when you select a particular module, it's gonna give you a description of what that module does. And again, you can do the same thing as before, but without having to go through the full scan. It'll take you straight to the function menu where you can read those codes, get live data, activate certain things, or access the special functions. Well, let's take a look at brake EPB, which is the electronic parking brake. And I'm curious to show you the special functions. Let's see what we have on here. And here's some of the things that you can do with the special functions for this particular module. And briefly, I also want to show you what happens if you do the manual selection. Remember, we're currently inside of Toyota, and we are presented with the list of the vehicles for Toyota, and that list can be quite extensive. But I also want to show you the vehicle coverage list. That way you can confirm if your vehicle is going to be supported on here. And I'm going to scroll through this list. That way you can confirm if the make of your vehicle is on this scanner. And if you wanted to sort through this list, there is a way to do so, and that is with this icon right here. This is going to show me vehicles for Asia. This one's going to show me vehicles for Europe, vehicles for America, or like I had it earlier, where it shows me all the brands that are supported by this scanner. And you also may have noticed this icon right here, which gives us access to standard obd-II diagnostics in case you did not need an advanced scan. And here we have two options: to do it by protocols or to do the auto scan. Let's take a look at auto scan. And we're given several choices. The first one is to see DTCs and freeze frame data. Again, remember, we are on standard obd-II diagnostics, and as you can see, there are no codes on here because this was not a full scan like we did earlier of the entire vehicle. Now we also get IM readiness, and this is going to help to confirm if the monitoring system on the vehicle is ready for inspection, and this normally relates to emissions inspection. Let's also take a look at onboard monitoring test results. And here's what that looks like, and as you can see, there's quite a bit of those, and also the details of the test, including the values that were taken. And we'll come back to live data in a second. I want to show you inside of component tests. These are the two tests that are supported under standard obd-II diagnostics by this vehicle. We can pull the vehicle information and also take a look at the vehicle status, which is going to include what protocol the vehicle uses to communicate and a summary of the different things that are going on with it. Now let's take a look at live data. And as you can see, this list can be quite extensive. We have the value, the range, and also the unit. And you can see on here the RPMs, and I'll give it some gas. There's also this drop down that gives us access to this analog gauge, and we'll give it again some gas. And we can also tap that one more time and switch over to a graph. And we can enlarge it with this icon. We can also adjust the axes. Each one supports zooming in, and we can also record the data. And that is going to be available for review under this icon. There's also this icon that allows us to freeze the data for further analysis. But what's also pretty neat, and I don't see this very often on scanners, is the ability to customize the graph line thickness and also the color of it, which can be really convenient, especially if you are graphing multiple PIDs at the same time. And on the topic of graphing multiple PIDs at the same time, this scanner supports up to 5 PIDs to be graphed on the screen at the same time, and I have selected on here 5 of them. And again, they're all color coded on there so we can differentiate them. And we also again have the ability to adjust those axes. Now the icons in the bottom remain as before. We have the record option, the freeze option, and if we record, we will be able to review it with the review icon. But let's also take a look at this in full screen. Then we have a little bit of a better view. And the second way to do standard obd-II diagnostics is by selecting the protocol of your vehicle. And one of the advantages of tools that have a direct connection to the vehicle as opposed to a wireless dongle is that the scanner's battery is currently being charged by the vehicle. So in case I was low on battery, the vehicle is gonna recharge my scanner, which I find convenient. But now let's look at the service functions, and there's quite a bit of them. Resetting the oil, EPV, which is electronic parking brake, TPS EMS, BMS, battery management, brake bleed. Also, we have DPF, and we get IMO, which is pertaining to keys and the immobilizer, injector, steering angle, suspension, and more. And I'm gonna slide over here so you can see how many of them are included on here, and also so you can see if the particular function that you're interested on accessing is going to be found on the scanner or not. Moving over to Data Manager, the scanner keeps tracks of the vehicles that have been tested, and also you can complete the workshop information if you want to have this show up on the reports. And if you are working on a shop environment, you can also create a database of customers to keep track of their vehicles. And under this icon, which is called Image, here's where you can find screenshots that you may have taken. Now, how do you take a screenshot? Well, that is done with this little camera icon. I'm gonna go back here. Notice if I hold this camera icon down, it takes a screenshot. Reports sent to the cloud are going to be found right here, and we also get a PDF reader. Now, this icon right here that says review data, here's where you can find any data that has been recorded. For example, earlier I recorded data from the vehicle, that live information data, and here I can use this slider to see, notice how it's changing that number as I'm moving through the frames, or I can also select play, almost like if I was connected to the vehicle, and I can do the same things I did earlier, which is to graph that data or display it in a graphical mode as opposed to numbers. But let's also talk about the updates, and that is done with this update icon. And the scanner is going to include 1 year of updates. And as you can see right now, there is one update available because I fully updated the scanner recently. But if there were multiple updates, you can select which updates to get, or if you did not want to click through each one individually, you can use the update all option, and it's going to fully update the scanner for you. And for tech support, we actually get two icons: the remote desktop, which can potentially allow a technician to remote into your scanner, and the support icon in case we wanted to contact Autel. And in case you're wondering about this OEM authorization, this is only used for vehicles that have a security gateway. Typically, FCA and Renault are going to require the OEM authorization for you to be able to access those, and the scanner does support that. And if you get the optional borescope option, that can be accessed with the Maxi video. Obviously, I don't have that inspection camera, so it is not going to be activated. And there's also this quick link right here, which are just really shortcuts to some of the most commonly used websites for mechanics and technicians. So let's take a look at the settings. Now, these are not the settings of the tablet. These are the settings of the diagnostic software. We get the ability to change those units from metric to imperial, and we can also change the language. And there's actually quite a bit of languages included in here in case we wanted to change that from the default one. Here's also where you will set up your printer settings, your report settings, notification, update the firmware, whether you want the tool to auto update, and also adjust the system settings. And as you may have noticed, I've been using some of the icons in the bottom, and the arrow one, we know it takes us back to a prior screen. The home one is going to do something similarly. It's just going to take us back to this home, but also this guy right here gives us access behind the scenes, behind the MaxiCheck software, gives us access to the tablet settings. And here's where you could potentially adjust the settings of the tablet, just like if it was a normal Android tablet. And this next icon that looks like a square allows us to quickly switch between the apps or to close any of the windows. And the next icon is a shortcut to a full internet browser. Now let's go look for a video so we can test out the video and audio capabilities of this unit. And here's a video playing, and you can see that the video quality is actually pretty decent. However, unfortunately, there is no sound, and this is not uncommon. Some scanners do not include sound because they're really not meant to be used as a media tablet. It's nice when they do, but in this case they don't. So if you wanted to see videos, you could potentially do that with some captions enabled. And the next icon is the camera icon, and that enables the camera in case we wanted to take a picture or take video with this tablet. Now, I showed you earlier that also holding this button down allows us to take a screenshot. The next icon allows us to adjust the brightness. Now, what's pretty cool about this tablet, I don't see this very often unless it's a kind of a higher end tablet, is the auto function. So this is where the brightness is automatically adjusted. And lastly, there is a drop-down menu with quick access to the Wi-Fi, do not disturb, and so on. But it also has a flashlight. Now, I reviewed scanners that have a camera, but sometimes they don't include a flash. And because this particular scanner does have a flash, that means that we also get a flashlight
flashlight.
So overall, I would say that this is one of the best bidirectional scanners I have tested on the channel, and I expected no less of the Autel brand, and it does have some level of upgradability, such as adding that video scope function later on in the future if you need it. Normally upgrades are usually only found on the larger scanners, so it's nice to see that we get that capability given the price point of it. Now, the fact that this scanner does not support sound, perhaps for watching videos on YouTube, that was a small disappointment. And I mentioned that some scanners, it is normal for them not to have sound. At this price point, I do normally like to have them have sound, not just a buzzer. So it'd be nice if Autel can add that in the future. But overall, like I said, this is a very capable scanner, and I think it's gonna take some time to master it if you have never used this level of capability before. So remember, I place a link in the description down below to this scanner in case you'd like to get one for yourself. And if you guys have any other questions regarding this, please put that in the comments. Also, if you found any part of this video helpful, make sure you hit the like button to support the channel, and stay tuned as I have a lot more scanner reviews coming up. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I'll see you on the next one.